I'm Sheenah Ko, and welcome to my home studio. Here's a video showing you how I made Bialystok, which is one of the new songs from my new record, Nowhere in Time. And I wanted to highlight some of the gear that I use for live, as well as some of the cool little technologies that help me with my solo performances. And this is Ginger. Okay, so first I thought I would just introduce what I use for my live setup right now anyway. So as a solo artist, I've got a lot of, I basically build my spaceship, which consists of the sequential Prophet 6, the Nord Stage 2, and this lovely Dave Smith / Pioneer DJ TORAIZ SP16, which is like a drum machine sequencer. I also use pedals in order to operate things and give my keyboards more life when I'm performing live. The Prophet 6 is one of my favorite keyboards because it's actually created by the inventor of the Prophet 5, who is Dave Smith, and he owns a company in San Francisco called Sequential. They're an incredible company. They support artists like myself with amazing gear, and they make gear that is really smart and made by keyboardists for keyboardists. Dave Smith, who invented the Prophet 5 and 6, was also the inventor of MIDI. And MIDI technology has been around since he invented it in like the 1960s or 1970s, and we're still using it today. And using MIDI live actually helps me connect everything and make sure that my arpeggiations are running on time, that my drum machine is synced with my keyboard. So this is one of the major pieces of technology that I use live. Right now, I've got a BPM on my Prophet of 140. My TORAIZ is set up automatically to receive the BPM from my Prophet. So this is at a BPM of 111. Now I'm going to increase the BPM on my Prophet to 140. And you can hear that the drum machine has just adapted to that. I'm going to drop it to 36. Now it's adjusting to 36. So this way it kind of helps me live because everything is synced. So a lot of times I'm playing arpeggiations on my Prophet live, and I want my drum machine to go with the arpeggiation. So in this way I make sure that all of my clocks are synced, because doing arpeggiations live are like, that's always been tricky, but MIDI really enables that, and that's why I'm really grateful for this drum machine. And most drum machines have MIDI inputs and outputs. This is what an arpeggiation is. So it's basically the notes in a chord that will ascend or descend, and you can give it a different pattern. So this pattern here is up and down. You can also just do up. You can also just do down. And you can have random. Now it's starting to sound more like Kraftwerk. So yeah, that's an arpeggiation. Going into sounds, on the Prophet is the Prophet is really cool. I mean, it comes with 500 presets, but then you have a whole other 500 banks of space where you can save your own sounds. What's really nice about an analog keyboard is that you can always start with a preset and then manipulate it. You can make whatever changes you want, and it's really fun to experiment with the Prophet. I've actually taught myself a lot of synthesis using this keyboard, because I just take a sound sometimes and I press hold. The hold function is so awesome because you just leave it and then you can manipulate the sound however you want. So you can change the shape of the oscillators. You can also add distortion. It has amazing effects built in. So as part of my setup, I use a combination of analog and digital synthesizers. The analog synthesizer versus the digital synthesizer, I mean, the analog, you're basically creating a sound from scratch using electrical currents. And so you're creating raw sound. And a digital keyboard is like using a computer, and everything has been recorded and you're playing a sound. You can still manipulate the sound, but you're not like creating the sound electronically. So this definitely will always have like a really rich, like raw. I find I prefer the sound from analog keyboards over digital. So the Nord Stage 2 and Nord Stage 3 keyboards are super versatile keyboards. You can basically play up to 6 different sounds at once because it lets you split your keyboard in so many different ways. You can have 2 different layers of sounds going on. It has the organ, piano, and synth world. But the way that I like to use the Nord Stage 2 is actually primarily with its sampling abilities. What I do, especially for touring, is I can't lug around beautiful vintage keyboards with me all the time, or like a really beautiful old organ. So a lot of times I will record those instruments at home here, and I'll record every single note. So for Bialystok, I have a really cool mellotron sound. The mellotron was a vintage keyboard in the 60s and so forth. The Beatles used a lot of mellotrons in their music. And I've recorded a mellotron sound and put it in here. So in Bialystok, I use the ARP fuzz sound from the mellotron. And then I added my own effects to it. So I've added some modulation, I've added some reverb, I've added a bit of delay to manipulate that. Now I'm going to talk about the TORAIZ, because this guy basically enables me to play alone and have like all of my drum machine capabilities. What's really cool about the TORAIZ is that you can create sequences in it. And so basically for my live setup, I find it's easier to just create sequences that I can play along to, so that I don't have to keep pushing buttons and programming my drum beats. All of these samples in here I've created. I've put all of these samples into the TORAIZ. So for instance, I put an organ in there. I've put another synth sound. I've got my friend Pascal who plays drums. That's Pascal Delacqui. He usually plays with me live unless I'm playing by myself. And I just play the drum machine. And we've got some shakers. That was recorded in a studio. I've got some percussion. Oh yeah. I recorded those with Navet Confi. I've got a guitar. Yeah, so anyway, you get the picture. This machine you can decide, oh yeah, I want like this sample and this sample and this sample to be playing at this time, and I want it to happen for so many bars. So that's what I do for live. It just helps me. So that's what this machine does. It's basically a sequencer and a drum machine, and it also has filters. So in the beginning of Bialystok, I play my sequence, and just like I do with my filter pedal, I can affect the cutoff on the sound, and it gives it that club. This is my club song, so this is my club effect. Yeah, and then you just increase the cutoff. Yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to say about all of those things. Yes, Ginger. Yes. We're gonna play some keyboard.